Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, non-binary pals, and the technical rainbow in between, this is Modular Media's Wrestling Podcast, and I am your host, Chris A. Boingo Ryder Gaston, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner in this endeavor.
I think I'm gonna kill.
Who?
I don't know, someone. Suffering. Maybe myself. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
You could always put me out
In
of
the
my misery.
meantime, I'm the vacuuminator.
Could always put me out of my misery.
I could do that, but it's a long ass drive, and I don't want to have to make it until my Galactus is at your house.
And, and the goddamn Alan Moore ass looking fucking shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so when's the last time you used Ticketmaster?
Um, Probably when we were getting tickets to the last Dynamite show we went to.
Yeah,
Me and the
yeah,
codes.
sounds about right. Well, I've been using Ticketmaster to get my AEW tickets. I got my Battle of the Belts tickets that way,
Mm-hmm.
and I just bought tickets a couple days ago for the show in Columbia on the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and went to sign in today to check on them. This is what the Ticketmaster sign in page looks like on my phone.
Nothing.
Yeah. So just straight up Ticketmaster, please fix your shit.
No, they're the only game in town. Why should they have to fix their shit?
Oh, I didn't know they were YouTube.
I didn't know they were WWE.
Oh, I didn't know they were fucking. What's one of those video game companies that just bought another video game company?
Microsoft.
Yeah, I didn't know they were Microsoft.
They
There,
just
I'm hip.
bought Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, I'm hip now. How are you doing, fellow kids?
I didn't know there were ISPs in localized areas of the United States of America.
Yeah,
Teddy Roosevelt will be rolling in his grave with the amount of monopolies we have running around.
Eddie Roosevelt would be fucking off in the Appalachian Mountains hunting bears. That's the shit he liked to do.
He also liked to bust not union. Well, he did bust unions. Everybody busted unions. He liked to bust monopolies and that kind of stuff.
I do too, because that game is fucking boring. But that's not what we're here to talk about. At
It's
least
almost
not
as if
yet.
that game was meant to be a satire on capitalism and everybody lost the fucking point. It's not
Well,
meant to be fun. It's meant to be frustrating and mind numbing because that's what capitalism is.
Well, it's owned by Hasbro and they license the fuck out of it now. So where's the real joke?
Absolutely certified joker moments. This is a wrestling podcast, folks.
It is. Uh,
And you're probably wondering, no one's wondering, and we're gonna get to
no
that.
one, no
Several
one's
things.
fucking watching. God damn. Let's just, yeah. Oh God.
So first things first, we haven't done a show just because, for the lack of a better way of describing it, toxic fandom for the first part, and then it just was we just couldn't get everything settled IRL to do it the week after that.
Yeah. I don't think it's any secret anymore. I work at a local technical college. And this semester has just been kicking the shit out of me. I come home exhausted every fucking day. And it's led to me kind of reevaluating some priorities and going like, what can I cut out here? Oh, there's this show we do that almost no one watches. No one watches live. And it's an extra night out of my week when I could be doing other shit. I could be putting time into my personal shit. I could be working on videos. I could be doing this, that, and the other thing. I could just be decompressing, and it's just an excuse for us to monetize yet another one of our hobbies. Um, oh, and that hobby has just had a thing happen in it that's made it hard for me to engage with that hobby, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
So me and Chris, we had our annual modular media production meeting a few days ago, with Buster and Snowcone, of course. We don't exclude them, but I was just like, we literally had the end of a marriage talk where you've got the screaming kids in the background and you just look at your wife and you go, this is what are we doing here? What's going on? You want to just papers? Be civil about it. And it's not like we hate each other or anything. Now we're still gonna do no prize. We're still gonna be on components together. But
Honestly,
like,
that kids comparison is apt because like I'm starting to think like, yo, maybe we shouldn't have any live podcasty things kind of during the week that aren't just super
yeah,
flexible.
yeah. Because how much of this is how many episodes of this have started super late, not counting this one, and how much of us talking about wrestling is like this is the thing that happened. Here's what everyone else has been saying about this, and here's our rebuttal to it.
Yeah, it's very. This was a show primarily to kind of just talk about wrestling so we don't interrupt anything else. But then it's just like we could just talk about wrestling in my wrestling chat and Discord.
Hmm.
But, like we could just do that.
We could do that. We could also just hijack components, like you and Buster hijack components to talk about video games
Hey,
sometimes.
3 out of 4 people on components play video games. You are the minority there.
Well, at least I'm the minority somewhere.
Speaking of video games, Kirby got a demo.
Oh boy.
It's fun.
Well, so I don't know if we actually said it yet or not, but this is the penultimate broadcast of
Yeah,
the show.
we're gonna do
We're
one
going to talk
more.
about. Oh no, go ahead. You're the host. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna do one more for Revolution, and then we're probably gonna hiatus this brand for a bit. And I think maybe we haven't talked about it, but like maybe do a special whenever a pay per view happens to just kind of go like, yo, fuck
An
pay per.
AEW pay per view.
Yeah, there's 4 of those a year, so like
Mm-hmm.
it'd be fun once in a
I'm like,
while.
I would like to bring this back when, say, fucking Modular House is a thing, and I can literally just say, "Hey, Chris, come in here. We're gonna do the wrestling show." But right now, fuck, it's hard, bro.
Yep, yep. So that's kind of the lay of the land with MMWP. So it's kind of being kaputzled.
Hmm.
Uh, it's not getting old yellered.
It's getting a soft retirement.
Yeah, it's it's getting the extra chapter to finish up the storylines.
Where, oh, what fucking manga is that in Bakuman?
It's the one with the first detective thing.
Yeah, yeah, we're doing that to it. But
Yeah,
I'm sure listeners of this wrestling podcast have seen Bakuman. They know what we're talking about.
yeah, but things happen. We it was fun while it lasted. It was fun talking about wrestling.
Mhm.
It was
I
fun
have
getting angry at British men for bad takes.
I have enjoyed being the Brian Alvarez to your Dave Meltzer
Why am I Meltzer?
because you're older.
And I mean, we are both neurodivergent. Meltzer's definitely ASD. He is fucking autistic.
Yeah. Have you seen the most recent photo of his office?
Oh, it's fucked. It's always fucked.
It looks like a goddamn fucking. Oh Jesus! What's the channel Kate John and Kate plus 8 was on?
TLC.
It looks his office looks like a fucking TLC special.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. MMWP got 2 more episodes, so fucking get hyped about them, I guess.
Fucking where's our uh I can't think. I can never think of names on this fucking show, but like channel Breaking Bad was on.
AMC.
Yeah, where's our AMC commercial that says only 2 episodes left?
How the fuck am I like? I haven't watched television in years.
Neither have I. I watched Breaking Bad in its entirety on Netflix over the course of a month, 2 years after it finished airing.
Mm, mm.
Anyway, I got a box. You want to see what's in this box?
What's in the box?
All right, so
I'm
I
a little
pre-opened.
tired.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay, so I pre-opened this box. Sorry, you don't get to see me cutting tape and potentially cutting my hand open on
You
camera.
propened it.
Yeah, I propened it. Also making sure
It's
that
a
I could have
prolapsed box.
making sure that I could have
For
the
the
label
box.
facing me. So we have tissue paper here, and
For the box.
shut the fuck up. All right, so here's.
You wanted Loopy Boingo, you get Loopy Boingo, bud.
This is true. Check it out, everybody. It's my first fucking Super 7 figure. Ultimates
Ooh.
Brian Myers. And you can't have the one toy boy without the other. So there's Matt Cardona.
Ooh.
I'm gonna slowly crack these open over the course of the show, but they are, of course, from Ringside Collectibles. And you know what? I've actually got something to say about Ringside Collectibles. This is my last order I will ever make from Ringside Collectibles, because I am fucking sick and tired of their, for lack of a better term, microaggressions against collectors. Like, when I first started getting into wrestling figures, obviously I got into it through Matt and Brian, because they're the gateway. They're like the poster boys for wrestling toy collecting, and they're sponsored by Ringside. Every episode of their podcast, they have like several segments that are directly dedicated to stuff related to Ringside. They have the Ringside top 10 best sellers every week, and they have a discount code. So I went and I started pre-ordering the AEW figures for there. And Ringside was the first time I ever encountered a website where you pre-order something and you have to pay upfront for that pre-order. Most toy collecting websites, you don't get charged until the thing's ready to ship. And I was like, that's unusual. I don't know about that, but okay.
See,
It's
here's
one
the thing.
thing.
There's a logical, I can see a logical way to do that if you are a small batch toy company and you want to know how much you need to make in order to.
And that's the thing. Matt and Brian always defend these microaggressions on their podcast by going, well, they're a smaller company. They have to do these things in order to ensure their business stays afloat.
And I'm not saying Ringside are like that. I'm just saying, like, Glyos brand might like go like, "Yo, we want to do these things pre-order."
Like, if you are making the toys yourself, I get it. You want to keep those pre-orders locked in, because that's the other thing. You can't cancel Ringside pre-orders. First time I ever encountered that. Now, since then, I've also seen it with a few BBTS things, where it's like you pay a deposit up front, which is like a third of the price, and then you can't cancel it. But they had that, and then I want to say like 4 or 5 months into me using them, they started raising their prices, not just like in line with what the figures are being raised as, because there's price hikes with toy lines sometimes. No, consistently Ringside these days is about $2 to $5 more than the regular price for the figure. And the explanation for that is they don't ship via boats. They ship airmail, and they don't charge you extra for that. They offset the cost by making that be the built-in cost of the figures. And you get the figures faster than anybody else if you order through Ringside. That's the Ringside guarantee. Well, motherfucker, I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking to make sure I get these wrestling figures, because no other website does good pre-orders for wrestling figures, okay? Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store, fucking, they're lazy as shit with putting up pre-orders for wrestling figures.
Anime, though.
Anime. And anything Hasbro does, really. Yeah. But, so That's why I was pre-ordering for Ringside for the longest time. And I was just kind of taking the L with that extra money. I was like, well, I get it quicker and it's fine, blah blah blah. Um, and then the fiasco with these figures happens because for those of you who aren't aware, the Super 7 Major Wrestling Figure Ultimates have been delayed a bunch of times. I want to say close to like 5 or 6 times actually. And the first, I want to say 4 times, it was Matt and Brian themselves doing it. They're saying we're having Super 7 hold these back because we're doing revision after revision to make sure these are the most accurate wrestling figures ever. We want to make sure these are perfect for our fans. And I'm like, that's understandable. That's fine. That's a company creator side thing.
That's delaying a game to polish it.
Hmm. Then there was a factory issue with Super 7 where it was something like their factory wasn't producing things properly and the shipping was getting messed up. That was another delay or two. Then there was a Ringside specific delay because as I said, Ringside orders these airmail. They have their own special like, oh, we're gonna get these faster than anybody else. Do you know who the last people to get these figures are?
Ringside?
People to order them from fucking Ringside because people who ordered them for Big Bad Toy Store, from Entertainment Earth, from Super 7 themselves have had these figures for a month and a half at the earliest now. It's really ridiculous. And on top of that, you go and you watch like videos by the Major Wrestling Pod guys where they're like at Ringside headquarters and whatnot, and it's this massive fucking warehouse, tons of employees, and they're being led around by the CEO who looks like this guy who has so much money he doesn't know what to spend it on, kind of a guy. But he collects figures, and that's the thing he spends his rich guy money. Now, this is not me slamming Myers and Cardona because I understand sponsorship deal. You have to say things in a certain way. You have to be very lenient and very nice towards these people. But Ringside themselves, I think they're two-faced dickheads who act like they're a much smaller company than they are. And even though they get some of the most awesome exclusive figures of any toy genre out there, I won't be ordering for them ever again. If they have an exclusive I want, I'll get it on the secondary market.
Yeah. That's always a shame when, like, a niche is filled by only one people.
Mhm.
Because, like, we see it all the time. It's like they fill the need and then there's no reason to try and do better.
Yeah. But that's just a rant for Ringside. I've been holding in for like weeks now. So I wanted to since this is our penultimate episode, I figured I might as well get all the wrestling shit in my life out of the way.
True.
And these happened to show up today, so how fucking serendipitous.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
but no, I like that they full on put the names and stuff on the shipper boxes. So this is like a extra layer of packaging if you're a mint and package guy. Um, but no, I'm going to start cracking into these as we start talking about things and stuff, and you can move us along as you like, Mr. Host Man.
What the fuck is TYN? Why do you have this on the list?
Do you actually not know? Or
Brain is being empty. Head empty, no thoughts.
CYN stands for Control Your Narrative. It has been
Oh.
EC3's marketing gimmick since he got out of WWE.
His Tyler Durden.
Mm-hmm. Recently, now he's done a bunch of like little pay-per-view things here and there, like small shows he's put together, like independent films. He actually did one with Matt Cardona. I want to say late summer last year. Yeah, because it came out on Memorial Day. But and they've been hit or miss, but when they hit, they're pretty good. Um, it's a full-on company now, and they've been signing people and getting ready to start doing shows and touring. And you look into the people who are investing in it and the kind of people they're hiring. This is the Alt-Right Wrestling Federation.
Oh no.
Yep. they're hiring almost exclusively wrestlers who are controversial and have been canceled. Like, it's not confirmed, but there's been a rumor for weeks now that Tessa Blanchard is going to be like their main women's star. And they, like, I'm trying to think of specific names, and obviously I can't because we're on the air and I'm tired, but like, there's all these people they're bringing in. There's all these crazy ideas, and they've been bandying about like, oh yeah, we're gonna be bringing wrestling back to how it used to be, how it was a good manly men's sport, and we're gonna have all these revolutionary things that are gonna make wrestling badass again. Like one thing I saw specifically that got announced a while ago, there's a special premium package if you go to a show you can get for an extra $50. You can have 15 minutes in the rant room with any wrestling of your choice, where you can just scream at a wrestler for 15 minutes with no consequences.
That's okay.
And they've been talking about how they have this huge TV deal incoming. And they just announced it today, and it's with a wrestling-specific streaming service that like only has independent contracts. So like it's a very fucky weird, kind of hilarious, but also kind of terrifying thing where it's like, I put this on the program because I figured people need to know ahead of time. So if you don't support alt-right politics, don't watch this, don't support it. Shed a tear for the wrestlers who have marked themselves for life by signing with it.
It feels like, you know, all those companies that all the wrestlers who sign on with AEW, like at the very beginning, was like, I've heard this story before. This sounds like the story before. Of like, oh yeah, no, we got money, we got a TV deal, we got a big wrestle thing. It's like, this is the lie that everyone was being told before AEW came around.
It sounds like Herb Abrams' UWF, if I'm to be honest. It sounds like a modern version of that.
It's gonna dollars. How many dollars till Cornette joins?
I think he's already signed, dude. I think I saw his name at some point last week in association with this. Because this has been all over wrestling Reddit, especially Smart Marks. Smart Marks is just constantly going, look at this shit.
Great.
Get this plastic seal on.
Oh, we got any updates, or you just?
They're also in like a protective plastic baggie, and like that's the outer packaging. That's the
oh wow, Matt Cardona's in a condom.
What's hilarious is this is like based on gear he wore for his indie re-debut video, and because Matt Cardona's a fucking psycho and he wears new gear every show, he hasn't worn this gear in like almost 2 years.
How does he have the money for that?
I don't know. I don't.
That's the thing with, like, I can understand like having a new set of gear like every other month, but like a piece of gear is like what, $500 because it's all custom made.
Okay, that's pretty good. Look at that.
Look at that. That is certainly a muscle man.
There's actually paint on the miniature figure. I did not expect that.
That's cute.
And it says scratch that figure itch on the top.
Well, we have been, since we haven't been on the air, kind of on the road to the big pay-per-view, the Revolution. So, some storylines have just been going on. Some storylines have continued or started and all the whatnot. So we'll get into those. But first things first, AEW has a new signee that's interesting.
Yeah.
That seems very much in the line of, like, Hook in terms of, like, tone. 16-year-old DeFi champion, indie wrestling darling, Nick Wayne signs with AEW at a weekend show. And I think it's much more of like, hey, you're doing cool things. We see a future in you.
It's also like, this is the company Darby Allin came from before AEW.
I mean, this is the indie promotion that's home of Ethan Page, home of Darby Allin.
the way this kid got signed actually was literally at the end of the show, Darby did a run-in and just handed him a contract.
Yeah. It definitely feels like, hey, you're a pet project
Yeah.
for
You're gonna
after the Dante Martin and Darius Martin
and
and
Hook.
Hook.
After they're like fully established fan favorites, which they're already pretty close to being, I'd say.
I think Darius is the only one who isn't, and that's just because he's been injured.
Yeah.
Like, Dante's a fan favorite amongst the fans. So was
Mm-hmm.
Hook. He was immediate.
Yeah. No, so like he's gonna be the class after them. Because he's 16 right now, and that was a thing they full on said is like, dude, you wow, the plastic strong on this thing is the plastic smell on this thing is strong. But
Get to
they,
have.
they said like, dude, you stay at Defy until you're 18. You keep doing your thing, but once you're 18, you can come to the Nightmare Factory, you can go to Flatbacks, whatever school you want, and we will train you from the ground up to be a star.
Yeah.
Because you've already got the raw talent.
I think Nick is going to be part of that like generation of like let's call a third generation AEW seedlings.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was up to me, the other person of that that little gen might be a Kid Bandit. I don't know, something about them just makes me think, yo, star potential. And it's not just the horny photos.
But like, guys, Matt, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Allowing a twist tie in the year of our Lord and Savior 2022 to hold your figure in? Not happy about that. I haven't seen a twist tie in like 5 years. Jeez.
No, but Kid Bandit's been popping the fuck off.
They seem very, very sweet and cool. I haven't fully looked into them yet, but you're so jazzed about them that I'm like, yeah, Kid Bandit's good people.
Well, I mean, have you seen their cosplay photos?
A couple, nothing major. Oh my god.
They recently did Bunny Suit Bulma.
In a couple of the episodes, he talked about needing to be more tan in one of the revisions.
Yeah.
Look at this fucking chest.
God damn. That looks like MJF's face.
Yeah. This thing does look really nice, and the joint tolerances aren't too bad.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Ooh, I had to get that waist going.
But yeah, no, Nick Wayne seems like he's going to be doing interesting things in the future.
Looking forward to it.
Speaking of the future, the Hardy Boys have announced that they are going to be planning a kind of final run retirement tour kind of thing.
Yeah, they announced it as an indie thing. They've already got some matches against like the Briscoes and people like that ready to go.
Yep.
But like, things have been going on, and it feels like every other day there's a new article about Jeff Hardy going to AEW. And like I think recently he had to clarify and say, because he was caught on a podcast saying it very recently, but he was like, no, I'm not signed, but it's where I ultimately want to end up.
Yeah, it seems very much of like both parties seem to be like, no, we're going to be doing these things right now, and Jeff, when we want to, we'll bring you in and do a thing, because Matt's doing something very specific and we just don't want to interrupt it. And there's no point in just signing you to do nothing when you can just not have to worry about that and do all that kind of stuff, because if we sign you, we should immediately use you, kind of thing.
Yeah. This figure has a certain charm to it that I've not seen in a while, where like everything about the body and the gear is hyper realistic, but the actual face is kind of cartoony.
That's good.
And I'm used to like face printing and everything looking super realistic these days. So like it's a nice kind of throwbacky charm to it. I'm digging that.
Does McFarlane Toys have face printing?
I haven't watched a movie toy review of theirs in a while. No, mm, I can't remember if there are on any of the Batman figures, but I know there wasn't on the Suicide Squad figure.
Could that be why the eyes are so fucking weird?
Might be, might be.
I don't know. But yeah, no, Hardy Boys doing some stuff. That's gonna be fun. We're also getting more and more brokenness out of Matt in AEW, so like that could be cool. That could be fun.
Yeah, like Alvarez was talking about this the other day, where he's like, all this intricate stuff they're doing with Matt Hardy, they got to figure out a way to work out of it fast because Matt Hardy being the way he is and the fans being the way they are, and all this stuff with Jeff, you're bringing the Hardys back, and you're not making them heels. So like,
Yeah.
they're gonna come in and they're gonna go on a babyface nostalgia run until it's time to retire them.
I don't think it's going to be necessarily pure babyface. I think they're going to be a little tweenery because that's where Broken, all that stuff worked the best when they were tweeners.
And
My,
despite my previous concerns with Jeff, I am down for this. Like, he seems pretty good from everything we've seen on social media over the last few weeks.
mm-hmm.
And, I can't deny seeing Young Bucks versus Hardys on AEW, seeing Hardys versus 2.0 and the Acclaimed and fucking Top Flight. Imagine all those. Those are fucking dream matches right there.
Oh, don't forget, fucking, what are their names?
I don't know.
The ones that Matt Hardy's fucking mentoring right now.
Oh, yes, yes, Private Party.
Private Party. I was only thinking of Hardy Party, which
Oh,
is when they're
could
doing their
you
trio stuff.
could you imagine like a four-way chaos match for the titles of Top Flight, the Young Bucks, the Hardy Boys, and Private Party? All the flippy shit they can get up to in one match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now it's time to talk about the thing that made you not want to talk about wrestling for a week.
All right. So there's no point in being around the bush with this anymore because this is old news at this point. But Cody and Brandy Rhodes announced their departure from AEW a little over 2 weeks ago now, and it came as quite a shock. We knew Cody had that handshake deal going, but we assumed that was just because he was renegotiating and he was going to stay because it's Cody. He's one of the founders. It appears they could not come to an agreement, and Cody just decided it was time to go somewhere else. And obviously, Brandy felt somehow the similar way. I would imagine it's kind of a we don't want to split up our family time sort of effect.
Yeah.
And I won't lie, it sucks. It did come as a bit of a shock to me. But really the thing that really grinded my gears was how everybody kind of immediately assumed he was going to WWE. Like, oh, he can't deal with the fan backlash, so he's going to where they don't care about it. Was kind of the feeling I got from a lot of people. And I was just like, have we been watching the same guy all this time? Because, like, Cody very much comes off like he hates WWE. Like, he never wants to go back there. They ruined his dreams and his career, and he had to rebuild everything from the ground up. And a lot of his time in AEW has been about saying, "Fuck WWE. I'm gonna do this thing WWE would never let me do." Um, and I mean, there have been some reports from some people who tend to have good sources, tend to know what they're talking about. Um, and just today, from one of those people, they actually said that their source says talks between the Rhodeses and WWE have fizzled out. And I would say thank God for that because Cody Rhodes is my favorite wrestler. We've been over this countless times. I love the man. I love all the character work he's done pretty much since joining the Elite. Having gone back and watched a lot of that stuff. Um, And if he were to go to well, let me back up and first say he deserves all the success in the world. If he were to go to WWE, good for you, Cody. You get that cheddar. You make a better life for your family. And that's the other thing people were saying is like this dispute was somewhat about money and somewhat about creative control. Creative control I can believe.
Yeah.
Money not so much because everything I've heard about Cody is he's very much been like, let's not repeat the mistakes of the past. We have to make sure this company is a good environment for everybody. Blah 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 blah. Like him and Jericho flat out made a pact at the start of the company of if we see anybody acting like a snake, we need to report them to Tony and get them kicked the fuck out. That's a thing Jericho has said a couple times on his podcast.
Right.
So the idea that Cody would have a big pay dispute that would make him leave AEW and then go to WWE, that kind of goes against everything I've ever thought the man stood for.
Yeah.
And if it were to happen, it would be such like a devastating, uncanny valley moment for me. I would probably have to quit wrestling for a little bit. I'd have to reconsider some things. Like just thinking about it and seeing people talking about it so casually for that whole week. I didn't watch Dynamite or Rampage that week. I didn't want to engage with wrestling at all because I was just like, fuck this. You know, this isn't fun anymore. You guys have taken this thing I thought I really cared about and you've essentially dragged it through the mud. In the case of this guy's public persona. And Boingo, you can attest to this. When this news came out, I was shocked, but I was like, there's no way he's going to WWE. Maybe he's going to Impact. Maybe he's going back to New Japan. Maybe he's going to Hollywood because he's been trying to break into TV and movies for years now. And he's got a foot in the door right now with shit like Go Big Show and Stephen Amell's Star Show. I know he's involved with that on some level. And also there was the thought that struck my mind, which he's kind of low-key hinted at on Instagram a few times. Maybe he's just gonna be a dad for a little bit. Because he's pretty well set up, and if he wanted to, he could afford to do that for a little bit.
I am unsure of what the whole Cody situation is. I definitely do think what kind of initiated the kind of the thing that began the split was definitely a creative dispute. It was definitely it stems from Tony Khan taking more of a creative reign in AEW. And Cody, I wouldn't say hating it, but disagreeing with it.
Because Kenny Omega has been very honest about this in not only his most recent interviews, but a lot of like public speaking things he's had over the last couple of years. Is like when it started out, he was booking his stuff. The Bucks were booking a lot of the tag team stuff. Kenny was booking the women's division with Brandy, and Cody was kind of booking a lot of the single stuff, including his own stuff. And as it went on, a lot of them realized the workload was too much for them, and they gave up and let Tony book things, except for the Rhodeses. Brandy held on with the women's division for a long time, and apparently her and Kenny actually fought over it for a little bit. And Cody has kind of never let go of his own creative control.
Which results in the quote-unquote Cody Island.
Or Codyverse, or the Cody Zone, or whatever snappy, cool, cultural reference YouTube name you want to give it.
Which, understandably, with how interconnected AEW tends to be with its storylines, that can be a little disappointing. Like, oh, this wrestler is only going to be doing things in this little narrow bit for a while, and I don't know when it's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily that you're upset at what they're doing. It's just more of like yeah, but they were also doing this, and it'd be like if you only saw Spider-Man in a goddamn fucking Sleepwalker book for 6 months. It's like, I'd like Spider-Man to have his own story, please.
Yeah. And that's fair. I definitely get that. But then, for as much shit as Cody gets, his storylines more often than not hit, in my opinion. So it's like I'm rarely mad at it. I'm rarely like, oh, this person's tied up. And when somebody's tied up and they go on to do stuff, when somebody's tied up in a bad Cody storyline and they go on to do stuff afterwards, that's not with Cody. More often than not, it's not even as interesting as his Cody stuff. Like I talked about a couple weeks ago, I saw fucking what's his face British boxer man during a dark taping after Battle of the Belts, and he was still doing the same exact shit he was doing the last time I saw him on TV, which was when he was feuding with Cody.
Yeah. Um, I don't know what's going to happen with Cody. This is going to just be like a wait and see kind of time thing. Honestly, though, I do think he kind of wants that creative control.
Yeah, which again is another reason where I'm like, why the fuck would he go to WWE? They script promos there. You really think
If he
wants
goes
to
to
go?
WWE, it would only be for a brief amount of time for purely the money to give himself a better savings.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like the shrewd businessman who'd be like, I want to make sure I have enough money for the super things. Let me just spend a couple years in WWE.
Let me get a Brock Lesnar contract.
He wouldn't get a Brock Lesnar contract. He'd get it. He'd get it most an AJ Styles contract.
Yeah.
Um,
And the other thing people were saying was like, well, if he goes to WWE, they're not too hot on Triple H anymore. Maybe he'd go for like that dream match where he finally gets to return the favor and bury Triple H. And I'm like, Triple H has fucking heart problems, dude. You really think they're gonna dangle that ship in front of him?
we got a bot.
Oh, I don't see them in my chat yet.
Uh,
Oh, there they are. I
yeah,
got them.
but
The only fucking viewers we get are bots. Love this show. Love doing this show.
I just had a thought. I don't know if Impact is in need of it, but what if he goes and just books Impact for a bit?
That, that wouldn't be bad.
The head booker of Impact.
Yeah. And like now that the thing that is the title of this episode has happened, there's a lot of people saying like, "Oh, he's gonna go over and be the head booker of that company for Tony, and it's all a work." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up."
If it, I want, it's not a work, but I can definitely see them reconciling and going, "Hey, you want to do this?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think they left on unfriendly terms. It was just more of like, I want to do this specific thing, and I can't do it here.
Yeah, it was a parting of ways.
Like, I bet you dollars to donuts if AEW went like, hey, we're doing this big old anniversary thing. You want to just come and do a one appearance thing? Cody'd be like down for it. It's like, one appearance? Sure, let's go do it. He seems like that kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, I finally got everything out of the tray of this package.
Ooh.
And a lot of it is I'd say in there way too tight. Like I had to bend a couple things a little more than I was comfortable with to get them out.
That's gross
and,
for a collector's item.
Yeah, and for the last thing, the little miniature action figure that comes with this action figure, I got out my knife and cut the tray apart to get it out because I was like, this thing is way too small and fragile. I don't want to risk bending and breaking it. But the actual figure is fairly solid. I'm trying to get it into a decent little pose here. And again, it's late, I'm tired, and there's small parts involved. Insert joke here. But come on, get it right. Yes. No. There you go. There's Matt Cardona reviewing his own action figure.
Nice.
That's pretty good. I like that. And the hand swaps are super easy. The head swaps are a little less easy. There's no exact pop when the head goes on that ball joint, so I had to press it super hard to make sure it was on there. But pretty solid. My only complaint is just like an aesthetic choice that I knew they were making in the first place, which is I don't like it when the knee pads are an overlay piece because it tends to limit articulation sometimes.
Hmm.
Uh, However, I prefer them to be sculpted on. However, Cardona said repeatedly on the podcast that they chose to do that because you can get more detail on them that way. And like, fair enough.
So, we haven't talked about
So
a couple Dynamites in a while, so we're probably going to be. We're using this latest episode of Dynamite as a framework to talk about the previous episodes of Dynamite.
and get hyped for Revolution.
Yeah. So, the first thing happened on this latest episode of Dynamite.
Big announcement. Tony Khan was
Surprise!
hyping it all week.
Big announcement, like genuinely big announcement. We open the show with Tony Khan super excited in the ring, and he goes like, "Hey, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching us. Thank you for being with us from the beginning."
Thank you for
Um,
supporting this business during the pandemic. Anyway, I did some billionaire shit.
I bought the entirety of Ring of Honor. It's just like
What?
that makes total sense, but also like, wow, left field, but
Like, I was a little shook. I was like, people had speculated that they were buying the tape library, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because then they get All In, and All In's kind of like the prequel to AEW. That's neat. Um, and then it's no, he bought the whole damn company.
I mean, if no one's using it, sure.
Yeah, because like it was very up in the air what was going to happen to ROH. They were going on hiatus. They were going to come back. I think in the summer they said they were planning. But clearly the company was just choked out by the pandemic, and that was because it was the one that had the most strict anti-COVID measures in place.
Which is
You
weird
know,
because its owner company, Sinclair, is a right wing company.
hmm But the people running the company just weren't, I guess, and did all the right things, and because of that, they weren't able to have people at shows until like those last couple pay-per-views, and well, you what happens happens, and now Tony owns Ring of Honor, and there's been a rumor for a while that AEW is putting a streaming service of some kind together, so big tape library to add on to that. A lot of assets they can now work with, and the only real sad thing out here is for all five of the Ring of Honor fans out there, you're not going to have a show anymore because I don't think AEW is going to keep that branding around and run full on Ring of Honor shows. Like they'll hold on to those logos and they'll do stuff with those logos. Like they might have a some kind of pure tournament homage show type thing. But I don't
Nothing's.
think we're gonna have a third. We're not getting the AEW developmental Ring of Honor show. That's not happening.
I can see it being a true like side thing. Like it's owned by AEW, but like Tony Khan sets up a whole infrastructure for it where it kind of functions as its own show, unrelated to like the greater AEW thing.
hmm
Like the best way I can think of it is like AEW's DC Ring of Honor would be Vertigo.
Vertigo or like what's Jim Lee's thing? Stormwatch.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying? It's like it's there, but it's not like that kind of vibe. I can see
Oh,
that might.
better modern allegory. It's Black Label,
Yeah.
and
But
there's where the Cody rumor can come back in. Black Label is basically joked about these days as the Batman label. Ring of Honor, the Cody label.
yeah. But like you see what I'm saying? Like it just set the whole thing up so it runs on its own by itself over there.
hmm
You just poke your head in and go like, "Hey, bud, what's going on? You good? All right, mate."
hmm
Um, do I think
Uh,
do I think it's probably more likely they're going to retire Ring of Honor as a show and keep a lot of the names for pay-per-views and assets and branding and stuff like that and use it in Dynamite in some way. Like I think I think the best bet is we're going to get Ring of Honor pay-per-views as special event dynamites. Like Winter
Hmm.
is coming, Beach Break.
We could get a an AEW final battle every year from now on.
Yeah.
Um, and
Maybe some storylines involving the old titles.
yeah, and I think it's cool that to follow up this announcement, not only did they make a Shane buying WCW joke, but they then had a rematch of the first ever Ring of Honor main event. Sans one canceled person, but like they even had the referee from that match in the same ring, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
Who is the person? I can't remember.
Loki,
Oh,
which is fine because like who gives a fuck about Loki these days? Who
yeah.
gave a fuck about Loki back when Ring of Honor was a thing?
Actually, a lot of people did. Loki was like good wrestler, bad attitude kind of guy.
Oh, okay. I'd like only heard of him as like, and then there was Loki. Like he was another guy in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, no, he
Um,
was a good wrestler, and people enjoyed watching his wrestling. He was just an asshole to fucking deal with.
okay. Well, anyway, here's Brian Myers' packaging.
Hell yeah, that's very orange.
Oh, God. A
But
lot of glare. A lot of glare.
yeah,
Trying to remember. The gear's based off of some baseball team that he's a huge fan of and is local to him.
he's from the New York area.
Yeah.
The Mets.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's Mets gear. That's right.
It's all about the Mets. Mets, baby.
Yeah.
That fucking meme
The
kills me.
the New York Mets. 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 Anybody remember Wizards of Waverly Place? Okay.
No, my sister watched that.
Well, the longer we go on, the longer it's becoming clear that your younger sister and I are probably, if not the same age, like a year apart.
No, she's 7 years younger than me.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Fuck.
She's about 21, so 7 or 6, depending on the year, depending on the when in the year.
Hmm.
She's closer to age to bust.
Did you want to hear the bios on these? Because I'm reading Brian Myers' bio right now.
Eh.
Okay.
So yeah, Mox and Danielson, Christopher Danielson, was good.
Yeah, it was a good. I liked it.
Yeah,
Very, very cool seeing that those guys can still go. Cool seeing Christopher Daniels back in the Fallen Angel gimmick because he's been shopping it around. It was on Impact and a AAA show recently, but he hasn't been on AEW TV since the Bucks fucking killed him.
I think it's mostly he's retired and working backstage, and if he wants to bust out and do some wrestling, he busts out the old gimmick because
Yeah.
that'll get the nostalgia pop.
Hmm. Though apparently he's keeping the fucked up eye.
That's cool.
I'm guessing it's a contact. But no, it's a great match, and Danielson won because he's got a big pay-per-view match coming up, and he then used the opportunity to go like, "Hey, in Ring of Honor, you used to start and end a match with a handshake, but we're not in Ring of Honor anymore, and I need to piss off somebody backstage, so I'm just gonna beat up Christopher Danielson some more." And he does that, and John Moxley comes out, and we get a bit of a scrimmage, where Danielson runs off. And hey, watch the pay per view because these guys are gonna beat the fuck out of each other, and it's gonna be awesome.
Because they're wanting to beat the fuck out of each other. Because I think we mentioned this before the brief hiatus.
Hmm.
Danielson had Brian Danielson, not Christopher
Yes,
Danielson. He had
Christopher
pitched,
Daniels, plural.
yeah, um, had mentioned, "Hey, yo, Moxley, we're both badasses. There's a couple dudes that can easily be badasses if it weren't for the people they were hanging out with. What if we kidnapped them and made a faction? You're down with that?" And Moxley said, "I don't know. I'll know if we fight. So let's fight."
Mm. Also, like, that sounds a whole lot like Scientology to me, bro. That just occurred to me.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a big old fun match. But next up, we had a big old. I can't remember what this was.
Yeah.
Darby Sammy Matt Andrade.
Oh, just basically, there's a whole bunch of fun, fuckity fuck shit going on with them. They had a couple backstage segments this week, couple promos. Basically building up the fact that tomorrow night on Rampage, there's going to be a freeway for the TNT title. Sammy is still the champion, but Darby and Andrade will be challenging him in this freeway. And then at the pay-per-view, there's going to be a six-man, which is Andrade, Matt, and I think one of the Private Party boys versus Darby, Sammy, and Sting.
Yeah.
So it's a whole like, can they coexist? What's going to happen in this match? How will that affect things? Kind of a thing. I really did enjoy Darby and Sting's promo. I thought that was pretty good. Sammy's cue card promos are what they are, and I don't even remember if Andrade and Matt were on the show, to be honest.
They were in a stairwell
Mm.
because Matt likes to cut promos in stairwells.
Mm. Nice places. They get dusty really easily, though.
Well,
I ought to know I sweep.
and then we had the second part of the figuring out who's going to be in the tag team match because at Revolution it's going to be a 3-way tag team match for the belts.
Mm-hmm.
So they had one battle royale, and they're having a different kind of battle royale.
There was just a straight up battle royale last week, and
then we have
Red
a battle
Dragon
royale
won.
with cheese.
Yeah, Red Dragon won, and they ended up eliminating the Young Bucks to do it. So just flat out, those guys are feuding. Not how will they coexisting. And then you have this week, big old casino battle royale, which is basically AEW's version of a Royal Rumble.
And they're not even having the pretense anymore. It's just Royal Rumble rules now.
Yeah, and it's great. It's fun. I had a lot of fun with this match. It was really good. Big exciting pops. A lot of the people coming out, except for the ones that happened during the commercial break. They probably picked the best people possible for that to happen to, but it every time it happened, I was just like, oh, those guys are coming out during the break. Sucks to be them.
Yeah.
That being said, though, Darius Martin is back from injury finally. Good for him. He looks great during this match.
Yeah, they give him a lot of things to do to make up for the fact that they used his brother so much.
Mm-hmm. But no, Top Flight is full on back together again. And I think that might have been part of the reason why they let Leo Rush go. They were like, oh, Darius is going to be ready sooner than we thought.
Yeah.
But no, and the Bucks ended up winning this match. And they're going to go on to face Jurassic Express and Red Dragon for the titles at the pay-per-view. And that's pretty cool. I imagine that'll be a really good match.
Yeah, but also the Red Dragon kind of helped out the Bucks a little bit. So
yeah, because they were like, oh, we can fight you? Yeah, let's fight you.
So there's a lot of things going on. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun.
Ooh,
and all of the time, Adam Cole is just going like, oh, guys.
I think the waist joint on my Brian Myers might be fused or like paint stuck.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, I keep twisting it. This joint right here, this little cross section. Mm-hmm. I keep twisting it, and you can hear those little creaks. I feel like if I force it anymore, it's gonna break. So I'm just gonna leave that until I can hit it with a hairdryer, heat it up.
Well,
other than that, he's fairly solid and good looking, though.
Well, next we got to talk about one of the biggest fucking storylines going into Revolution right now. CM Punk and MJF.
Yeah, this is the one thing that I have not been able to take my eyes away from these last 2 weeks. I have always watched the CM Punk and MJF segment, despite everything happening. I've at least pulled that up on YouTube the next day. And it's been a feud for the ages, I would say.
AEW has really nailed basically what I would call the vulnerable masculinity side of wrestling.
Hmm.
Because
Which is incredible because it's something you almost never saw before.
yeah, so this little 3-part epic to the storyline, because it's been going on for a bit, is it starts off with CM Punk going into the ring and saying like, "All right, you little piece of shit, fuck you. You were never important to me. No matter how much we bring up this photo, it means nothing. You're a piece of shit. I do not like you. I am going to beat your ass, and you cannot run away because we are doing the dog collar match." Typical really good CM Punk promo. Got over everything we needed to get over, did all this stuff, right?
Hmm.
And then the week after that, MJF comes in and bears his heart out with a genuine, almost true to life, like, there's parts he embellished, we know this, but like,
But like
almost
it's his version of the pipe bomb.
where basically he went like, "Hi, I'm an asshole because of everything done to me, my influence being CM Punk, and the spite I felt for CM Punk."
Hmm. Like it's literally like here's this real world shit that has influenced my character, and we're just making the subtext text. Here's finally MJF's supervillain backstory.
Which his supervillain backstory is he is a neurodivergent dude who never was able to connect to other people socially, got into a situation where he thought he would be able to, only to be met with anti-Semitism.
Hmm.
However, he took solace in CM Punk as sort of a inspiration, a guidelight, no, this is I can handle it. CM Punk can handle stuff. I can handle it.
Hmm.
And was heartbroken when CM Punk basically like left wrestling for a while until MJF during college just got the spite boner for CM Punk and was like, "No, fuck him for leaving. Fuck him. I'm just gonna go and do there and be the best and be better than him to like fuck him over."
Yeah. I mean, not yeah, but like that is what happened. And it makes sense. It's super compelling, and it's
It makes you
up
sympathize with
there.
the monster because, like, yeah, do I not bleed red? Like,
You can understand that feeling of like being disappointed and let down in your heroes and wanting things to be better and being like, well, fuck you, you weren't good enough, so now I have to go out there and be the best version of you I can possibly be. Like fucking Endless Jess has been ranting and raving about this feud in his server and on his Patreon posts the last couple months because he's like, this is just the shit I would have done if I had been able to become a wrestler when I was in my 20s. Like this is exactly the kind of thing I would be. MJF is out there living my dream, and I'm pissed off at him for it. Is Endless Jess's take on this?
hell yeah. But, like, you understand MJF's point of view. Like, yeah, you were faced with a lot of shit. And, like, the moment I heard him go, like, "Oh, no, I'm ADHD," I was like, fuck, dude, don't make me like you. Don't make me understand and empathize because we went through similar things, sir.
That's
I
not fair. You can't do that. I'm
um
I'm sorry. Is my removing things from this plastic tray being too noisy?
nah, you're fine.
Okay.
But then this week, CM Punk came out and recited his old mantra. I am straight edge. That means I do not partake in alcohol and drugs. That makes me clean, and that means I'm better than you, and you know it. And he basically goes like, "Oh wait, no, there's something I forgot about the MJF promo that just immediately broke my heart. Was that
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk came out and just got into the ring across from MJF and just was like, "Is that true?"
Mm-hmm. And there's also the fact that, like, the week before, CM Punk, or no, 2 weeks before that, MJF beat CM Punk in Chicago. And then the week after that, CM Punk came out and said, rematch at Revolution, bitch, dog collar match. If I'm the Roddy Piper of this era, will you be my Valentine? Will you be my Greg Valentine? Very badass line. Very great line.
Also quoting the Street Fighter movie, "For you, this was the best day of your life, but for me, it was a Saturday."
Mm-hmm. But
But no,
no, he
after
comes
the
out at the end of that promo and he's just like, is it, there's no music, he's not in gear, it's not anything, it's played like a totally real run-in. And he's just like, is it real? And MJF won't even look at him. He just fucking turns around and walks out of the ring.
no, he said one thing. He looked away and said like, "Yeah," and like I fucking
Mm.
because
Anyway,
I've talked about like ADHD symptoms and like I wouldn't say necessarily we've had that moment, but there's been moments where you just like look at me and go like, Jesus, that like when me and Buster talk about like neurodivergent stuff, you just look at us and go like, Jesus, that's how your brain fucking works, and we just go like, yeah.
yeah, because I'm the exact opposite. I'm OCD.
It's just
Like,
like,
my
yeah.
room doesn't look too messy at the moment, but legitimately those shelves are bugging the fuck out of me. I got to do something about them this weekend.
And so like that little yeah just like broke my heart. Because I've done like you get that feeling, man.
Mm.
But this week,
But hang on. You know who trained MJF?
is it a man
Brian
that you hold in your
Myers.
hand?
There's Brian Myers with his COVID mask and his microphone and his action figure of himself.
Nice.
Because that was a thing, like, they got released right at the start of the pandemic, and when he did his re-debut, he had a mask as part of his entrance gear. Like, he would get in the ring and tear it off and be like, let's go, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
So it's really cool that they put that in on the figure, and it is removable. You can put it on any of the head sculpts you want.
that's cool.
So, like, there he is without it. And I like most of these head sculpts, though the shade of green they chose for his eyes. I don't know if it's his real eye color or not. Um, he's just having a hard time focusing on that. Wow. Do I have something else I can put behind it? Let's try this one. Um, but if you look there, look at that head sculpt. Something about those eyes, they're just a little too piercing for my taste. Overall, though, fairly similar to my take on Matt. And these are my first Super 7 figures. So I can now definitively say uh, Super 7, they're not amazing, but they're good, solid collector figure photography worthy figures. Uh, and, they've had a lot of reveals since these figures that have made me go like, ooh, I'm kind of tempted by that. So
Yep.
probably won't be my last Super 7 figures. Like, they just revealed the next wave of their Disney figures last week, or maybe it was earlier this week. And there's a Stitch in there that I'm like, ooh, I need that.
But this week, CM Punk comes out, does his whole old "I'm straight edge, that means I'm better than you," and basically reflects a little bit on his life and goes like, "I was a shit person.
Mm-hmm.
I was a shit person, and my actions gave comfort to someone else, but in turn made them a shit person."
Yeah.
Like
You know
it's
what this promo was? Remember back when Becky Lynch first turned heel and she had that segment with Edge? This was the good version of that.
yeah. It's, I hate to be corny. It's the moment in like a show or an anime or a movie where the main character punches the mirror and they're looking dejected in the sink, and then they look up at the mirror and it's all cracked.
Yeah. Which they literally did with Hangman a little while ago.
Yeah, but he's reflecting and doing all that kind of stuff, and he goes like, "Hey MJF, could you come out here? I would like to say something."
Yeah.
And basically, MJF comes out, no fanfare, nothing like that, and CM Punk just goes like, "Hey, I didn't know you went through that stuff, and it took a lot of balls and a lot of guts to bear your heart out like that in front of everybody. I respect that, and I respect you for doing that. And I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier." He took out his hand and went like, "Let me actually shake your hand."
Yeah, because that's how the feud started, was CM Punk wouldn't shake his hand.
And like he sees like, you're trying to be like me, and the older generation, and I did what the older generation did to me, which was ignore me and treat me like shit. I didn't see myself in you, but now I see myself in you, and all that kind of stuff. Uh, and MJF just hugs him, and I was like, God damn it. I actually fucking was like, fuck, man.
Me too. Me too. It was a bit of a roller coaster of a segment.
And I was just waiting for Punk to hug him back. This is like, just fucking hug him.
Yeah.
Because part of me was just going like, this will heal MJF a little bit.
We're going to restore MJF's in that moment. It's like, oh my God, we're going to restore MJF's humanity. He's going to turn face. This is going to be one of the most incredible moments in wrestling history, and not shot.
Yeah. And then we realize either
he's too far gone.
Either he's too far gone, or this is all the justification that a sociopath is using to justify their own actions.
Yeah.
Like, it's the narcissist saying, I can't be a narcissist, I was bullied.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Again, it's a good version of a WWE segment we get all the time. Oh, we introduced Big Scary Monster Man. He was bullied as a kid, and he's acting out. Well, here's little scary fucking demon motherfucker with Big Scary Monster Man as his sidekick. He was bullied as a kid, and he's genuinely scary because he beats the fuck out of Punk and like genuinely has the most disgusting bleeding that I've seen in a while.
That's a fucking that's a Dustin Rhodes blade right there.
And he gets him up on the ropes in the dog collar, and he's just like, "You stupid old man. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist." It's such good character work this has been,
and see, if this was like a movie, we'd go back to all the flashbacks of him in the high school and the football team. We get a revisit of the anti-Semitic bit,
mm-hmm.
and you'd cut back right where the flashback ended, and you'd see MJF grab like the roll of quarters and just fucking beat the shit out of the guys.
Yeah.
As like, you realize, yeah, he got fucking anti-Semitic bullshit on him, but he acted like a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
And a reveal of like, yeah, no, he's sympathetic, but he's a monster, and like, And
another thing I love just about MJF in general is how involved his parents are in his character work, where it's like, they're not always there, but when they say something on Twitter about him, or when they go to a show, it's always like they do something notable. When he cut that promo last week, his mom tweeted like, "That's the first sign I've seen of the son I've known in years." And I was like, "Oh shit, they're really going somewhere with this."
Yeah.
So when this betrayal happened, literally one of the first things I thought of was, "Oh no, what's his mom gonna think?"
but it's impactful. It means a lot, especially because they purposely did it. MJF and CM Punk were both wearing white.
Yeah. Like as soon as Punk was bleeding, you were like, "Oh, this is yeah, that makes perfect sense."
Um, yeah, and that match is going to be fucking brutal.
I I cannot wait. Like that's the match you ordered at pay-per-view for.
And then we got some new stuff for the ladder match. So, who is in the ladder match? I'll tell you. MJF Adam Page would be amazing.
I really hope for it. MJF does seem like the guy to take the title off of Adam. And I've been saying that since before Adam had the title.
I just like MJF could do really good with it. Uh hmm, I don't know when to do that though, because I don't want it to be the next thing. I'd like at least like one more like little feud for Adam Cole, not Adam Cole, Hangman first.
Yeah.
No, it is. Yeah, no, Adam Page. I don't know. But yeah, no, I definitely don't think it should go to a WWE person yet. I think we should have like a couple AEW guys, and then it's like, all right, now some of the older guard get their like last chance at a title, and they're itching for like one last time, you know.
Hmm.
And you tell those storylines.
Yeah.
Uh, so Face of the Revolution ladder match. We have Wardlow, Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs. Meat match. This is the meat match. Is everything okay, bud? Uh oh.
Hello?
Hello. I can't.
Hello.
There you go. You're back.
Okay. My internet
Uh.
must have hiccuped.
Uh. Part of me goes like, yeah, that'd be fun storyline for Wardlow and MJF, but like,
Nah, MJF needs a legendary run. And it seems like they're gonna go to MJF Wardlow next.
yeah. Uh. So who's else in the ladder match? Who else is in the ladder match?
Well, I know in this big gay clusterfuck of a match, Ricky Starks is playing the role of the soap. That's
It,
what he is. He's going to be a slippery little bar of soap going between all these meat boys, and it's going to be fun.
we also have Man of the Year. My brain's being a fart.
Ethan Page,
No, other one.
Scorpio Sky.
Who is being put into the match.
He won it last year, and he's
Because he
from
was complaining like I won it last year, all that kind of stuff, and it's like, hey,
yeah. And then you got your title shot, and you lost that title shot.
yeah.
So back of the line, buddy.
But he's a heel. He needs to be a little delusional.
True, true.
Um, trying to remember who else was in the match.
I think it's everybody. I think it's only like 4 or 5 dudes, isn't it?
Now, usually it's 6 people, but I think that's all that's been announced.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's gonna be a big fun clusterfuck.
Dude, it's fucking Keith Lee.
Chiefly.
Basically, it's a Money in the Bank match without being Money in the Bank. They get a title shot.
Yeah, I believe they use a giant sonic ring, but basically, if you pull the sonic ring down off of your ladder, you get a shot at the TNT title.
Normally, it's a poker chip.
Hmm.
The ring was a joke because you need to grab the brass ring.
Hmm.
So it might be a brass ring, but that
They
also
might
seems
throw
like
the
it was a
poker chip.
Cody thing.
Yeah,
So it might be a poker chip. Because gambling.
gambling.
Uh, We then get some Britt Baker Thunder Rosa stuff.
There was a what was it? A tag match. It was her. It was is Britt and Rebel
No, not Rebel.
versus. Was it?
It's the other one, the British one.
Oh, it was is Jamie.
Yeah.
Versus
Thunder and Mercedes Martinez.
yeah, because Mercedes Martinez is apparently face. We missed that turn.
No, she got betrayed by Britt the week before.
Oh, okay. Well, this match was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was as bad as everybody was saying, but it's not like a normal. I disagree with everybody. This was amazing kind of a thing. This is a decent match.
Yeah,
I appreciated that Thunder Rose brought the Dino Thunder gear back out.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love a Toku Queen.
Mm-hmm. But she got the pin, which is very alarming because normally, if you want us to wonder if somebody's going to win their title match, you make them lose or lose by proxy. The on the go home show. I have said for a very long time, Thunder and Britt should be the way you end Britt's title run, and Thunder should be the next women's champion. So we're doing this at Revolution, and it looks like Thunder's not gonna win.
Or they're fucking doing a goddamn dude from Princess Bride, and they know we would think that. So they did it so they could swerve us.
I fucking hope so, honestly, because like Britt's a great character. She's really good at doing her thing, but her championship run's not been the best.
So like I am ready for someone new. It has some ups. It hasn't been pure down.
Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely ready for someone new, and I think Thunder is the right woman for the job. So like it may be a little sooner than I expected, but yeah, let's go ahead and switch that title around.
And if that's gonna happen, I wouldn't mind it being like Thunder and then maybe like Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby Soho will be fun.
Yeah. Because we've also got Jade Cargill and Tay Conti for the TBS title happening. And you know, I love Tay. I think she's great. I think she's progressed a lot more than most people seem to. And I would argue that she's a better wrestler than Jade right now. But she's getting fucking fed to Jade.
Yeah. I do think by the next pay-per-view, Jade's gonna lose. Don't know to who, but she's gonna lose. Because by that point in time, it'd be a very lengthy, dominant winning streak. And they could
I hope it's the Layla Hirsch. I hope we fucking rehab Layla Hirsch with that, because good God, that Layla Hirsch Chris Statlander segment this week stunk.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't the worst thing, but it felt like they were having two different goddamn conversations.
Yeah.
They were like, they are in one feud, but it feels like they're in two different feuds.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
that, and just like, I don't know what it is. I think Chris Statlander is just a bad promo. Because like she's great when she's just talking as herself. I enjoy her on podcast interviews and stuff. But in all these promo segments for this feud, I've just been like, what the fuck happened? She sounds like she's reading directly off of a script.
Here's the thing, I disagree on that. I think she's too natural. By that I mean, if she was more stilted, it'd be better. Because remember, she's supposed to be a weirdo alien.
That's true.
And I hate to put it this way.
That's a heck of a pitch there.
Ooh, that would be
Rosa
good.
joining with Mox and Danielson?
That'd be fucking good, though. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
First time acknowledge a multi-gender faction other than goddamn Dark Order.
Yeah.
And that 2-week time Britt was with the Elite. Yeah, could give the bigger boost to the women's title too. And then, no, if Thunder gets it...
And wouldn't it just chap Serena Deeb's ass that they go to Thunder Rosa and not her?
And then we have a good heel to go up against Thunder's very tweener aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing: if that faction happens, it's not a heel faction; it's a tweener faction. Because people
Yeah.
get too hype, like for the good wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, that'd be good, especially
Yeah.
because then
Great
Deep.
pitch there. Fresh News 247.
What was I talking about? What was I talking about?
Uh, we were talking about how Chris Statlander can't cut a promo.
Oh, right. I hate to put it this way. Chris Statlander should only almost play the alien character as if it's autistic, missing
Yeah.
social cues. Like,
Well, that's kind of what she was doing at the start before she started talking
yeah,
with the booping and whatnot.
like I hate to put it that like it the character, the look, it works better if it is fish out of water. If she doesn't understand all the things,
Mm-hmm.
like
So remember, Best Friends is supposed to be all the weirdos, which is, by the way, something we haven't gotten a chance to touch on a whole bunch. Fucking Danhausen has been great as just like a side character in that group.
Danhausen's been amazing as just like, remember that one bit forever ago where they were having a backstage brawl and they busted open the bathroom and Orange Cassidy was just there and he just went like this.
Yeah. And they just
Danhausen's just
closed the
that.
door gently on them.
That's all Danhausen's character is right now. It's just that moment repeated over and over again.
Well, remember, for a very long time at the start there, Orange Cassidy he'd just do that. He'd show up in random places. Like, you pull a ladder out from under the ring. Oh, he's napping on top of the ladder.
Yeah.
They're doing that with Danhausen, where Danhausen keeps getting pulled from under the ring and cursing people, which coincidentally, because it's AEW, we have to keep things somewhat grounded. They then get hit with a big move.
Yeah. The curse is just a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a curse because it's like, what the fuck are you Ow.
Yeah. It's his version of the pockets.
Yeah. I hate to put it this way. Are the best friends the one thing holding the best friends back?
Yeah.
Because Orange Cassidy's a big fun character, and I'm not saying he's been downgraded or anything. I enjoy the contemporary version of Orange Cassidy where he is goofball but serious in moments. Like, it's fine. I like it. I would like to see a little bit more comedy every once in a while, but that's just because I liked Orange Cassidy comedy shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, Statlander. Big ol' alien gal. She's fun. She's crazy. She's wacky. We now have Danhausen running around. And we have the rest of Chaos, which are a bunch of fucking weirdos as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the best friends. Just a couple dudes. Just some guys.
Yeah. Well, we've said it many times before. They are the jocks who sit at the nerds who play D&D table because they want to play D&D when they're not playing football. That's their character. Which works. It's good.
Yeah.
But
it's just more of the thought I just immediately had because we're talking about these big bombastic characters and it's like,
yeah. And then there's them.
But Chuck and Trent,
they're the straight men, for lack of a better term. You know, they work, they're good, they're solid, but their characters aren't interesting enough on their own to ever get them a title run, I think.
Yeah. But yeah. I think the match is going to be fun between Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that'll be the end of it. And then we can just figure out what to do with them.
Yeah. Anyway, talk about your fucking golf shit.
So, a couple weeks ago, Malachi Black hinted at another member of the House of Black. And then the week after that, we got a confirmation of who the other member of the House of Black is. It's Buddy Murphy.
Oh, mate.
Yeah,
They call him
goddamn.
Ozzy in the group.
Also
He's a
fucking
big,
nugget.
he's a big old nugget boy. What a
Uh,
Craig.
with a Craig. Goddamn. That's
I
hype.
wonder if he has seen that YouTube shit. I want to meet Aussie wrestlers just to go. You heard of Dank Pods? Oh, mate, and then just get punched.
Because here's the thing, he also apparently he's not from like the city, so he has a more rural accent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, why is this guy? It'd be the equivalent of like, why is this guy from the middle of Alabama talking about iPods?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is it's funny.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Buddy Murphy's in the House of Black. That's fucking hype.
Mm-hmm. They had a special pre-produced promo segment, which was pretty fucking cool. It was them all in silhouette saying badass, intimidating stuff about Pac,
Yeah.
and they lined it up just right to be like, oh, these guys are a fucking stepladder. Because Brody King is fucking huge, Malachi's like average size for a wrestler, and then Buddy's he's a fucking Wolverine boy.
Buddy is Australian Pac.
I believe the term the kids use these days is manlet.
Short King. Not unlike someone on this podcast.
I walk a the road, the only road I
I would
ever.
walk 500 miles. I would walk 500 more.
That's us. That's the meme version of us.
No, no, no. See, I'm singing Reese's Puff. You're singing Misery.
No, I'm singing like,
No, wait, you haven't seen that meme?
bro. No. I'm singing Skin. You're singing Who Do You Want to Be Today?
So yeah, that's gonna be fucking hype. Also, referencing the fact that the last feud Malachi and Buddy had in WWE was against each other, so that's gonna be fun. Also, Buddy Murphy got a little bit of a curb stomp,
Yeah.
so that's fun. So let's see what other things are going to be happening on the Revolution card that we haven't talked about.
I don't know. I don't have the card in front of me.
Well, I know there's one thing. Adam Cole versus Adam Page. Adam.
Oh yeah, the Adams Apples match. It's a new gimmick they're introducing. There's going to be like 2 pages of rules. Mike TNA is going to make a special appearance and go, it's really quite simple. Big old badass match, but not fucking obvious championship match. They've been building it for a while. It makes perfect sense. It's a really good place to go right now. I don't feel a whole lot of hype for it.
That's the problem, though, because that's the problem. Like, I'd be hyped for it if this was like the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. This is like still early into Page's title run, and we are trained with AEW to go like, oh no, they get a little bit of a title run.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can fully expect that this might be a short title run. It might be the first, and that might be part of the story with Hangman Adam Page. But like, I've been trained not to expect that. So I'm just expecting Adam Cole to lose. You there, bud?
I'm there.
Okay, you didn't look like you were moving.
Sorry.
So, what is love? Baby,
Baby,
don't
don't
hurt
hurt
me.
me.
Don't
Don't
hurt.
hurt me no more.
You have very
Ooh,
bad.
oh.
You have very bad internal tempo.
We're just desyncs.
Yeah, I think Adam Cole's gonna. Not Adam Cole. Adam Page is gonna win.
Yeah.
Though if Adam Cole wins, I would not be surprised, but I'll be like pleasantly like, oh, they did want to go that direction. They are telling this story. Cool.
What are you gonna do, guys? Are Hangman and the Bucks gonna have to reunite to expel this evil scourge of Adam Cole and his Red Dragon? Sounds
Why
like
does
a
that
fucking
always feel like a
children's
little bit of
fantasy
a dick
series.
joke? Yeah, I'll show you my red dragon.
See, I was just thinking that sounds like the title of a children's fantasy novel. Adam Cole and his Red Dragon, Book 4, the Quest for Gold.
Book 4. Oh, fuck your mom.
Book 4,
Adam
you're a fat
Cole.
ass.
Okay, I just thought of something. Adam Cole, if we didn't know how nice of a guy he would be in real life, Adam Cole looks like the kind of guy who would talk to a kid and go like, "Hey kid, your mom's single."
Mm-hmm.
And it's
He'd
not
go
like
to like
he's a
a
weird like an asshole. It's not like he'd be an asshole to your mom. It's just like he'd be into your mom.
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. MILFs certainly have their own attractive qualities about them.
I mean, he goes about it in a little bit weird way. He did ask her kid if she's
Yeah.
single.
I mean, I just check for a ring, but that's me.
I don't think we have anything more wrestling to talk about.
No, we have done all the wrestling. We have officially wrestled till we can't wrestle anymore. And all that's left to do is wait a couple nights and fuck, we're probably gonna watch Revolution right after we finish No Prize on Sunday.
Yeah. So hey, why don't you tell the people where they can find your stuff?
Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm probably going to call out sick to work this Monday, but if you want to see my YouTube videos, hey, I'm at youtube.com/thevacuuminator where I post videos about action figures and tokusatsu. I just posted a collab with Database Ranger. It's us talking about the Power Rangers Lightning Collection toy line for about 45 minutes. It's a nice, chill, little nerdy conversation, so if you're into that sort of thing, go watch that video. I think it's literally just called Discussing the Power Rangers Lightning Collection with Database Ranger. I'm also on Twitter, tweeting and tweeting about every little thing that pops into my head at the Vacuuminator, and I'm on Instagram posting photos of action figures and my dogs. That's at @the_Vacuuminator. Hopefully, I'll remember to post photos of these guys at some point this weekend.
Yeah. Hey, howdy. I'm a Boingo writer. I do a variety of content on the internet. You want to see me on Twitch? It's twitch.tv/Boingo writer. On any other social media platform, including Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, it's at Boingo_writer. I post a variety of things just in a variety of places. Would you like to see some video essays and editorials? Go into the YouTube search bar and type in, I'll give you a guess, a Boingo writer. Hell yeah. So, anything else we need to say this evening?
Uh, I mean, I don't want to do the big emotional, it's been a pleasure speech this week,
Yeah.
but, you know, it's been a thing, it's been a fang, it's been a bit of a foom. And I probably won't get to do this anymore after next week. So wrestling!
Wrestling.
Wrestling!